So how do you align on like what are the true must-haves, what are the nice to haves, and then the order of which you would prioritize those nice to haves to make a decision in a tiebreaker?
Yeah, that's a good question. So often that will come down to the hiring manager, but the recruiter kind of has to guide them in that thought process because we'll present what's available. We're going to show you what's in the market. We're going to bring you a bunch of different options there, but they might have to decide what they're willing to compromise on. And I think that kind of goes also back to performance based hiring and just looking at hiring as a big picture in general as to what pieces of the puzzle we're adding in. So even when I've been hiring for my own team, which not I don't like the word weakness, but like which area of weakness am I trying to fulfill here and which area of strength can I kind of like give on a little bit that I don't need in this next person that I hire. So you kind of have to think of it as a puzzle. You're sticking a piece into the puzzle. You're not trying to find clones of each other when you're finding candidates for a particular position.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think what happens all the time is the recruiter is collaborating with the hiring manager on the requirements, and the hiring manager wants to tell you all these things that they absolutely need. But then the reality
Right.
is you start hiring, you send over some candidate profiles to them, and they're like, yeah, that wouldn't be good. And you're like, wait a second, but they don't have X, Y, and Z that you said were a must
Yeah.
have. They're like, yeah, well, they have the comparable thing. It's like, okay, well, now we're not really aligned on what is truly needed for somebody to be successful in this role and what we can give on and what we can't give on. And so I think making that really clear early
Well,
on is super
making
important.
it clear early on, but also having touch points throughout the process is really important. So, like what you just mentioned, right? So, you kind of have to have that touch point throughout the process. Hey, I know that when we first set out our intake call, this is what we thought the profile would be, but I'm finding XYZ in the market. Is this okay with you? Maybe we want to find someone that has more of this. And it is kind of a dance you do together, right? To find the right mix.